I manifest everything. I'm currently living in a house, a £2 million house or more. That was manifested and it just was flowing towards me. It was so easy. And I think this is something as well with when you're manifesting, it shouldn't be forceful.
Yeah, but I want to manifest my dream partner.
Honestly, since I've started to really see what I have, the money's just increased and the money has just flowed into my life.
And that's how I got to stay at the Four Seasons Hotel.
Oh, love this.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cilia Li Show. It's your girl Cilia, and today we got another special guest, Mika. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. How are you?
I am doing really well. I feel like everything is coming into alignment at the moment. And you know that quote, the biblical quote about you reap what you sow? I feel like I'm in the sowing, the reaping period.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting in the bountiful harvest. It feels like that's what's going on at the moment.
I feel like we met for a purpose as well, like
100%.
that alignment. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So I invite you on today because I want to talk about manifestation. Because when we met at a networking event, and I remember when you introduced yourself, you spoke about manifestation and manifesting through or via menstrual cycle, and those two, especially menstrual cycle bit, is what where caught my attention because I'm really passionate about that. So I was like, I'm going to speak to this girl, get her on my podcast.
Yes.
So
yes.
let me ask you a question first of all. What are you a manifester?
You mean in human design? Or do you mean in general in life?
Just in general, are you a manifester?
I manifest everything. I'm currently living in a house, a £2 million house or more.
Yeah.
And the rent is $650 including bills. And everyone was like, you're never going to be able to live in London for cheaper than this price. And I said, watch me. And I got the exact room I wanted. I wanted a room that had morning light overlooking a garden. I didn't even know that was the room I was going to get. Boom. That's where I'm living right now.
Sorry, how much did you say?
$650.
Including bills?
Yes.
Where?
In Kensal Rise.
Where, you got the whole place to yourself?
No, I'm living with some other people. But
okay.
that was manifested.
Still,
the room, the price, to a T, that's the price that I wanted. That's what I got.
Wow, how did you do that?
So I had a vision, I had an idea, and I guess manifestation requires a few things. And one of the first things is to know exactly what you want. So I knew I wanted a room with a garden, with the morning light. I knew the price point I wanted to pay, and I visualized it. But then I just started to take very small actions towards that. And I was also ready. So I think with manifestation, you have to feel this is the moment to act. Because sometimes if you act too soon, you push it away. And if you act not soon enough, it leaves you. So I just took the small action. I asked someone that I knew was away, is there a space in your house? And it just was flowing towards me. It was so easy. And I think this is something as well with when you're manifesting, it shouldn't be forceful. There should be minimal effort, but effort that you put in and then bang, what you want comes to you. And we can go into the manifestation process because it's something I'm obsessed with and I feel like it's really our birthright as human beings to understand how it works and how to get it.
Yeah.
How to get it right.
So I want to talk about manifestation because obviously a lot of people always talk about, manifestation. Always talk about, I'm manifesting this. I manifested this, or I'm going to manifest this, right? But then some people think they thought they knew how to manifest stuff, but then afterwards, but why is it not working? I thought I did. So is there a blueprint?
I would say people, first of all, need to understand how they work, like how someone's mind works. Because, for instance, if you aren't self-aware, what you're manifesting could be something that isn't for you. And I actually mentioned this on my retreat. I just did a retreat last week and I did a workshop on manifestation. And I said, we're manifesting all the time. You know, when you get up, you're thinking about brush your teeth, you brush your teeth. Manifestation, all it is seeing something in your mind's eye and making it happen. But what I do, which is more unique and empowering, is I'm telling people you have the choice to do the things you want to do. Is this what you want to be doing with your life? Is the job you want what you want? Is the house you want? Is the car you want? Is the relationship you want actually in line with your values? Or have you been taught when you were younger, I'm meant to be a doctor, so I'm going to go and do that? Or I'm meant to have a relationship. And so being in a relationship is more important than being in a relationship where you feel desired and you feel passionate and alive, if you know what I mean. So the first thing is, I'd say, figuring out what I desire in life. And then there's a blueprint. And we can go into the blueprint, but I think it begins with really knowing what you want as a person. And if you ask many people in the world, what do you want? What are your dreams? A lot of people actually don't know and they get embarrassed.
That's true, yeah.
People don't actually want to own, like people say, oh no, I don't want anything, like I'm happy with where I
Yeah.
am, like I don't have dreams. And I say, yeah, but if you, like I asked my mum the other day, because I'm really into cars and my dream car is a Jeep
Yeah, I
Wrangler.
saw that.
You
Yeah.
saw that whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I can tell. Do you want me to, should I speak about
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Speak about it. Yeah, yeah.
So my dream car is a Jeep Wrangler, and near where my mum lives, when I came back to the UK, I was living at hers, and there's a Jeep Wrangler that's always parked near her house. And so I decided, so I was listening to a podcast, Manifestation Babes podcast, and she spoke about 4 different ways, 4 different vision board hacks. And she said one hack is to put yourself in the perspective of what you want. So say there's a car you want, to get in that car, put your hand on the driver's wheel and take a picture. And so I saw this Jeep Wrangler and I said, what have I got to lose? And I wrote the guy a note and I said, hey, this might sound a bit weird, but I'm Mika, I'm a manifestation teacher and I really love your car and it's my dream car. So if it's okay with you, obviously you can supervise this, but can I please just take some pictures in your car? And I left my number. And then the guy, the same evening, he was like, hey, Mika, thank you for your note. Let's have a video call and I'd be happy to let you sit in my car. So we have a call. It's really vibes. It's really cool. It's really nice. And then we meet up and the whole time, like, I'm a little like, oh my God, what if I just get kidnapped in this car?
Yeah.
And the guy is also like, what if I get jumped by like 4 guys
Yeah.
that pretending to be a woman?
Yeah.
But in the end, it was fine. And he literally let me sit in his car on my own. I sat in the car. My vibration was so high when I was sitting inside of it. I sat in it. I prayed to the universe and I was just like, thank you for everything I have in my life. Thank you for this car. And I felt like this is going to be my car. And I took the pictures and then I put the pictures on Instagram
Yeah, I
with the
saw
song
that.
Drop Top, you know
Yeah.
the song. And I got so many comments, so many people saying like, this car suits you so much. So not only did I get myself manifesting it visually, I got other people around me who want the best for me in life, seeing it.
When I saw that picture, I actually thought, oh, she drives. But then when I read the comment, caption, I was like, oh, so yeah, it suits you.
Yeah. I do drive, but like
Yeah.
I haven't driven a Jeep yet, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that is my dream car.
Okay, so then if someone was like, yeah, but I want to manifest my dream partner, what do they need to do? Is it like they, the usual people say you need to work on yourself, you need to be the person you want to meet.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. But I also think it's good to know what you really want. And sometimes, like, I feel like I'm on this journey right now. I'm trying to manifest someone who I can really get into alignment with, I can be devoted to. And I've been on this journey for a while. And I feel like what I've been calling in, every single time I call in a partner, I learn something new about what I want and what I don't want.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing is to be, again, observant and see, is what do I want from a man or a woman? You know, what do I want from my relationships?
Yeah.
So that you can call that in, because without knowing that clarity, really getting clear on it, you're not going to manifest it. But the other thing as well is, what do you want to feel? This is the big key with manifestation. What does that manifestation make you feel? So that car, that Jeep, it makes me feel freedom, expansion. So every day I think, well, what can I do? What actions can I take to make myself feel more expanded? Like being on this podcast, expansion. So being in a relationship, how do I feel in a relationship? This is my ideal relationship. For me, it's grounded and secure and seen, and probably many other things. I'm curious to know what your dream.
Yeah, I'll tell you that in a sec. But I just want to ask
Yeah.
you said, so it's the feeling, right?
The feeling.
So let's say, for example, like talking about a relationship, you say, oh, I want to feel this and this and that. So then, that's how you want to feel, but then how can you apply? Does it make sense?
I get what you're saying. Like, how do I get those feelings?
Yeah. Because you're not in it. Do you know what I mean? If you're in single, how can you?
Exactly.
You can just think, yeah, I want to feel happy, or you know what I mean? I feel secure. But if you don't know what secure means, how can you feel that?
That's a good question. I'm going to start with what can you do to get into the feeling. So, and I think this is so important when you're looking at a relationship. And it's something, I'm dating someone right now and I'm really trying to call that back into myself, this knowing that that person can't create anything inside of you. Your feelings are yours and they support you in the feeling your own capacity to feel. But you have to remember and know, whether you're in a relationship or not, that it's not them, it's you. So obviously they will bring something out of you that can be very special and part of your connection. But if you say, I can only be happy or I can only be secure when I have him or her, then you're going to be in a codependent relationship.
Yeah.
But okay, if you don't know so I'm going to come on to that question. What do you think, if you don't know what security means, how do you find that?
Yeah.
But firstly, okay, say you want to feel free. That's how you want to feel. There are going to be other feelings in your life that make you feel free. Maybe it's driving on the motorway, listening to music. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's like going out for a drink, like for a really nice coffee in the middle of the day, and just feeling like I have this freedom of time and abundance.
Tap into that
Tap
feeling.
into the
and then
feeling.
apply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
what you're doing, so, and we can go into this conversation of embodiment and how your body actually guides you towards what you want. Because the feelings in your body, so I spoke about this on my retreat, and it's something I love to speak about. So there's an amazing book called Quantum Healing, and it speaks about how our thoughts, when we have a thought, we don't see chemicals going off in our brain. The chemicals that basically transport thoughts around our body are called neuropeptides, and you see them everywhere. They're produced by different organs. So thoughts are literally happening throughout our body. So when you have thoughts and feelings, your body's changing, and that affects your physical reality.
So this is what I used to say to people. I think it's actually maybe that is what it is. What is it called? What's it called? Quantum leap.
So the book was called Quantum Mechanics, I think.
Okay.
Quantum healing.
And healing. Okay.
But yeah, it's about the atoms and the chemistry.
Because I used to say to people, when COVID was happening, right, during COVID, and I was like, I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I said, I do not believe in it, and I will not participate in it. And I said to people, reason because, like you just said, if you're thinking about it, all your cells are carrying these messages.
Absolutely.
So it's basically happening all over your body. So the energy is running around in your body with this energy about, oh my shit, like think basically the fear of you're gonna catch it or you're gonna die, blah blah blah, things like that. So I can honestly say that time, that energy I was in, I was like, I just knew I would not get it.
Yes.
I just knew I don't believe in it, things like that. And let me tell you something. I babysitted my best friend's son at the time. He was 8 years old, and he had a day off school that day. This is when we just came back out of lockdown, but still it was quite sensitive time when you still have to take those tests anyway. And he was off school because why was he off school? I can't remember, but anyway, he was off school, and then the next day my friend was like, that he got just tested positive for COVID. And bear in mind, I was with him the whole day, right? I wasn't even scared. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then obviously I was hugging him and everything, innit?
Yeah.
And then my friend was like, oh, maybe you should get tested. I was like, I ain't got it. I don't need to. I ain't got it.
I love that.
And she was like, just get tested. Okay, fine. Because also I work in a gym, so I need to, innit? But I knew, I was like, I don't got it. So I thought, oh no, it wasn't her. It was my manager, because my manager was also friends with her. My manager was like, oh, just take it. I was like, okay, fine, cool. Took it. There you go. She's like, okay, cool. And obviously they do say wait another 7 days or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me take another one after 7 days. I said, there you go. And I knew I didn't have it, right?
Yeah.
That's incident 1. Incident number 2. My friend, she said she was feeling funny. Like she felt fluey. She felt like her bones were feeling funny. Like she just felt like she's got the flu, and she reckons she probably got the COVID. And that day as well, when I went to see her, I was hugging her. It was literally everything like that. And she said she has done the what's the other COVID test? The longer one that takes 48 hours or something.
Flow antigen.
No, the antigen is the quick one, but the other, is it antigen?
I haven't got
not the one that you do self-test one, the one that you have to go to
a lab and whatnot.
Yeah, and then wait another like 48 hours.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, anyway. Apparently that one's like more accurate. So anyway, she did that because she's a manager of the gym, so she had to do it. And the next day she got her results back, and she went, oh babe, I got tested positive. And she goes, oh, you need to check yourself because yesterday you were hugging me. And I was like, I ain't got it. I know I ain't got it. I just know I ain't got it. Yeah. And then waited a few days, nothing. I was like, I tested nothing.
The power of the mind.
Yeah.
This is what manifestation is all about.
Yeah.
And this is why COVID was so, I wouldn't say, again, it's a sensitive topic, hilarious. It wasn't hilarious. It was awful to watch. But it was also like, how are you not seeing this? I remember when COVID happened, I was I switched on to feeling energy being projected. And I was doing a yoga course at the time, and the TV was on and it had no sound, but I could feel the energy of what it was sharing. And it was just like needles going into my body. And I thought to myself, what is going on? And I thought about how, so first of all, with any health or like anything going on with your body, positive affirmations, telling yourself good things, positive things, that's how you stay healthy. COVID was so obvious. The news, everyone, it was all about fear. People called it the fear-demic. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't, the people were being killed by fear. It's so obvious. And, during the war, like World War II, there was obviously the famous quote, keep calm and carry on. In COVID, it was like panic and freak out.
Yeah.
Like hide from everyone. And like, we know as well, what the people who live longest tend to be the ones who live in communities. Obviously, it was a pandemic, you can't share it. But people were dying on their own in hospital beds, isolating. Like, this is how you kill people.
Yeah, I was actually saying people are actually dying from depression,
Isolation,
going
solitude.
crazy. Yeah, not the actual COVID. But don't get me wrong. Some people allegedly did.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say like
No,
that.
you probably got the audience there.
Yeah.
But everyone at this point is like, my friend, a lot of my friends are the only ones in their family that were like, I don't trust this. And then everyone around them was like, you're crazy. And one of my friend's parents, her mum, has come around and said, you know what, you might have been right. You might have been right. And actually, I think it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
And this is someone who like trusts the government, who believes in all of this stuff, who's like really anti like alternative anything, who's now thought, well, actually, what happened there?
Because also, if you think about it, I know we're just going on a one-on-one now, so it's a different topic. But anyway, just finish this. Because if you think about it, it didn't make sense. They were saying, oh, only 6 people from the same household can be in a restaurant at one point. If you know what I mean, and when you go to eat, first of all, you know that it never really happens in the same household. It was always from different households.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so you're trying to tell me when they were sitting, apparently they're not allowed to. Oh, what was it? Yeah, when they sit down, they can take the mask off, but when they want to walk to the toilet, they got to put the mask back on. So you're telling me that this so-called virus is jumping around. Oh, this person's not wearing the mask. I'm going to go attack them while they go to the toilet. But when they're sitting down, they're safe. It is so dumb.
Yeah. It made the logic. And that's why I'm saying it's funny. It's not funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but because you have to have compassion for people. But at the same time, I have this passion where I think to myself, why is no one thinking for themselves?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing of manifestation and the process, because I really feel like I want to change my label, my title from manifestation and soul purpose coach actually to an empowerment coach. Because what we're telling people when you're talking about manifestation is you have the power to live the life you want to live.
Yeah.
Someone else doesn't have to control it. And a lot of people, and we can get on top of the topic of money, but a lot of people, I hear the words they use about money, and it's like you're keeping yourself broke, you're keeping yourself stuck because you aren't allowing yourself to break out the chains of belief that tell you can't have that thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about money then.
Yeah.
Abundance mindset
And scarcity
mindset.
Yeah.
So before we go into money talks, money talks.
Money talks.
What do you do? Because we want to talk about business, because obviously a lot of people can relate, because we know especially on social media, we always hear people saying, oh, I manifested my business to this, I manifest this to happen, blah, 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 like that. So first of all, what do you do?
So I am a soul purpose life and business coach. And when I say business coach, I'm helping women who have spiritual brands, mostly women. I don't actually coach men with spiritual brands build their business. And I'm also an Akashic Records reader. So I read into people's past lives and help them understand how to get clarity in this life. And I've also been running retreats, and I ran circles, and and I do theta energy healing. And my coaching is pretty much a mashup of all these different skills I have. So the life coaching, empowerment, reading, energy healing. And I'm really interested as well in the body and how to feel more safe in the body and relaxed so that we can actually build the life that we want. Because I truly have seen in my own life that if you don't have feelings of safety and relaxation and regulation, so if you're in fight or flight all the time, which we can be as business owners, stepping out on a ledge, jumping off the edge of the off the other edge of the cliff into the ocean, like that is literally at the beginning the journey of an entrepreneur. If we don't have safety in our bodies, we can't attract money, we can't attract wealth, we can't attract clients because we aren't there for ourselves. And at the moment, I've taken a little bit of a hiatus where I'm rearranging my business, and I'm actually going back to university. I haven't told you that.
Oh,
I'm going to go back to university and finish my degree. I'm doing anthropology. I want to do visual studies to learn videography and photography. And the goal is actually I want to go on to do human rights law. And it's all coming into place because I want to do that. I want to learn somatic experiencing, which is a really powerful trauma healing method where you're able to map how people have gotten trauma trapped in their bodies and heal them. And my real goal at the moment is to be able to work with people who have been victims of war trauma, which is in my family, my lineage. I was in a war zone last year. So that's the journey. And obviously I'm going to bring my healing with me. Like all of this work I've done so far is going to help me, but I'm taking this break where I'm realigning what I want to do. And so I'm really only offering readings, but manifestation is at the core of what I do, because when I think about why do I want to help people heal, it's because I want every single person, especially people who have been involved in catastrophes like war, to believe they can create the life that they want. Because when you've been like everything you've had has been lost, or when you've been in a really awful situation in life, you know, first thing you're thinking about is survival. You can't think about thriving. But when you are able to come into relaxation in your body and feel safe again and feel whole again, then you can access joy, freedom, and actually create the life you want to live. So it's really like the clarity has come in at the moment. And yeah, and I've been doing a lot of amazing stuff. I'm feeling like for the first time since I've started, really, I trust my power and my knowledge and my skills. And I trust that everything's going to work out the way I want it to.
So like, so basically you a multi-dimensional coach, just put it this way, right?
Yeah, multi-passionate for sure.
Multi-passionate, yeah. And so right now, coaching business is a big thing.
Yes.
Like you see it hit everyone, this
Everyone.
coach, yeah?
Yeah.
And even on social media, sometimes they will talk about, basically coaching is the business that's money-making business now, basically right now.
Yeah.
It's easy to make, you can easily make this amount of money, 6-figure or 7-figure, right? So everyone's going into it. Now, I recently got into it. Not because, I want to make big money. Well, don't get me wrong, I want to make money, but not for that reason. Think, that's the way to make big money. The reason I went to coaching because, I call myself self-love coach, but now I'm actually probably going to change the title again. But anyway,
yes,
that's another story.
classic.
Yeah, but the reason I quit personal training because I feel like personal training, being in a gym anyway, held me back from what I want to do. So the reason why, basically, that's why I changed it. I thought, let me pivot and get into the coaching world and be able to help women build self-love and love their body, positive body image, and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, my point is that it's not easy.
Nope.
And being an entrepreneur or solopreneur right now, having so many things going on, like podcast, and trying to build a coaching business, doing Pilates, being a content creator, also want to do events and stuff like that. So many things going on. And it's hard. And obviously financially right now there's a massive from earning 5K a month to now basically sometimes 1K, sometimes less than 1K a month. And it's so hard. And obviously it does affect your mindset, the abundance mindset.
Absolutely.
And I know people always say, but you gotta surrender, you gotta have an abundance mindset, let it go. Yeah, and it's just like sometimes it's easier said than done.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, like you're not supposed to, I think that the idea of just surrendering when you're in a scarce place, that is not what you're meant to do. It's not about surrendering. There is so much you have to do. And I can honestly say I'm only now beginning to feel like I'm not in scarcity. And you know, I've had other jobs throughout my time. Right now I'm working in a coffee shop and I love it. And at first it was like a massive schooling because for 7 months I was like fully just me and my business. And I was, for the first time ever, like living the dream. But I was still in this lack mindset. I was traveling, I was in Bali, I was literally like, I had clients whilst I was traveling the world, and I had the scarcity mindset. Nothing was working. And then I started working at this coffee shop, and I had all this ego stuff come up where I thought, oh my God, I should be further than this, and just kind of comparing myself to others who are further than me. And only now I'm beginning to really feel like I am actually feeling and living in abundance. And I have less money than I used to have. How?
How'd you do that? Yeah.
So,
because I want to feel abundant right now.
Yeah.
I'm struggling so bad.
It's a daily practice. I think a really big one has been gratitude every single day. And I do this method, and this is something you learn in neurolinguistic programming. And I didn't do that as a coach, but I've learned the methods. So when you feel a good way, so say you're imagining something good, like I imagine things I'm grateful for every single day, and you pair that with something you do in your body. So say you tap your heart, or you tap your fingers.
Oh, is that a tapping thing? What do you call it?
That's like EFT, like that's emotional freedom. But no, what I do every single day is I think of my gratitude and I squeeze my finger and I squeeze this finger. I do this, right? Squeeze it. Yeah. And I think about my gratitude when I'm closing my eyes. And then I'll be walking on the street and I'm tapping these fingers all the time when I'm in a good mood. And so this activates that feeling. I'm creating a neural pathway in my brain that's reminding me of gratitude and joy.
Does it have to be these fingers? Or
no, it can be anything.
Oh, so basically it's your reminder.
It's my reminder.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's my reminder. Yeah. But you could literally just like, I mean, this is quite inconspicuous. I mean, if you started doing something like this and then like every time you're out, you're People are gonna think, okay. I mean, we've got to accept like
Mm,
people have like random weird things they do, but this is a bit inconspicuous. No one's gonna kind
mm,
of look at you, or you're not gonna make anyone feel uncomfortable. But one big thing is, so I do meditation every single day, and at the end of my meditation, I think about what I'm grateful for, and it can be like this house I'm in, the weather, and if I'm feeling really low, it can be simple things like looking at water, like the sound of water, the feeling of the breeze, the grass, like wind blowing through the grass. And I think about gratitude a lot. And I have ways of speaking to myself to remind myself of what I have. So for
mm.
instance, so something that I really love, I met a friend of mine on my energy healing course, and then we happened to be in Bali together. We ended up hanging out loads in Bali, and I was working through a lot of stuff with abundance when I was in Bali, a lot. And we had dinner together, we had lunch, and I literally had like £26 in my bank account, and I was freaking out because I was like, oh my God, if we split the bill, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it, and I'm just going to be so embarrassed. And I was like really like anxious that meal, but I felt something higher telling me, Mika, she's going to pay for this meal. She's going to pay for it. And so at the end, the waitress asked us, so do you want to split the bill? And then my friend just says, no, it's going together. And then she just said, she's like, I don't argue with money. If I have a feeling to do something, I just do it. And we were talking that whole conversation, that whole lunch, we were talking about abundance, talking about scarcity, because I was in the midst of really being on this journey of trying to figure out how do I get beyond my scarcity mindset. And she said something which is beautiful. And she said, again, the Bible, bringing up the Bible, not I mean, even Christian, but she said, our daily bread is what we have today, and everything else is the rest of our life, if you know what I mean. So she was like, I have my bread for today. That's what I need to worry about. And then when I was going through like a scarcity kind of cycle, I think 2 weeks ago, I walked through my mum's building, and on my left, there was a book called Simple Abundance and Comfort. And I opened up the book, and the first page it got to was basically talking about money. And this book has like 300 pages about all different topics about how to live a better life. The first page I open up is about abundance, is about like lack mindset and bills. And I remember this quote that she wrote, and she said, um, so she was like, if you have enough money in your bank account today for what you need, everything else is abundance. And I've been saying that every time I start to stress about how much money I need to have, I come back to, do I have enough money to buy food today? Do I have enough money for a roof over my head today? Yes, then everything else is abundance. Because our mind craves so much more. Because so the front of our mind, and I'm really interested in the brain, the front of our mind is our prefrontal cortex, which is that part that can imagine and can think further ahead, which is an amazing part of the human mind because we can think of new things, we're creative, but that's the part of us also that goes forwards and backwards and keeps us either stuck in the forwards in the future, which we don't have, or the past, which we're lacking in. Like, oh, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this? Or why am I not there? But when you come back to the present, like, look at how much I have. That really helps me to remind myself of the fact that I am truly abundant. Or speaking to people about their life story and hearing what people have been through, and reminding myself of like how far I've been able to come with what I have. Just reminding, I think the big thing is remembering that your life's journey is totally unique, and the skill sets you have cannot be taken away from you. And if you decide to work on yourself, can only advance you in life. That is your abundance, because we
Mm,
die with nothing. We
mm,
don't die. No one's gravestone did they go, he was a millionaire and we loved him. Maybe someone,
yeah.
but you're not remembered for that. And I really have begun to realize this. Like, I've been so fixated on like making 10K months and having loads of money, but who is that actually for? I've realized that's because I want someone to be proud of me for doing that. That isn't actually what I want necessarily. Like, I'm realizing with myself, like if I was making 3 4K, even 4K, that would be like so abundant, and I would have so much that I needed and wanted. And yeah, I'm not there right now, but am I living the life I want to live? And the answer is yes. I have the time I want. I've got the friendships I want. I eat the
Mm,
food I want. And honestly, since I've started to really see what I have, the money's just increased and the money has just flowed into my life. And I'm doing more of what I want to do. And I'm telling you, this has been like a long journey. Like, I was working my job, making like 2.5K with another job, working my other job. And I would always end the month with minus numbers, no matter what.
sounds like
Literally.
me.
So I was there and I was like, what's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong? And it's been such a journey of learning to value and appreciate the money that I have, learning to allocate my money, looking at my finances and really seeing like, what do I need every month? And I'm still working on that. Like, what do I need? And because I do overspend, and
Mm,
really focusing on what is it that I actually need in my life, and cutting away the bullshit that's actually taking away from me being present. Because I think when we think, oh my God, but I haven't got that thing yet. And it's like, wait, but do you need that thing right now? Like our journeys as entrepreneurs, we think like our world is instant gratification. We think, oh my God, if I haven't got it in 1 year or 2 years, then I failed. It's a marathon.
Yeah, because yeah, one of my friends said to me, "It's a marathon. You don't need to be sprinting." And I was like, "Yeah." So sometimes I think I've tried to use that as a mantra to remind myself, but sometimes it's hard, especially when you're
Absolutely.
in the moment. Like right now, the struggle is real right now, But like I said to you earlier, how I said this publicly on this podcast, saying that how I quit personal training, how like for me life is like a train. I only gonna move forward or I stop, but I'm never gonna go backwards. I don't buy return ticket, only single ticket.
Yeah.
And I think the ego is like, now I'm like, Cilia, you said it publicly. Don't you dare go back and get a job or go back to personal training. So like I'm now, you know what? I decided, I'm going to go back to personal training, but I just don't want to work in the gym. I actually thought about it. What I didn't like about personal training was actually being stuck in the gym. It wasn't actually, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there were times where I found it boring to do personal training, but I think it depends on what client it was and what their purpose was and like that. But I did not like being in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to get away from it. But I decided actually personal training is just a title. That what you want to do, the actual purpose of it is what matters. So like the practices and stuff like that, personal training doesn't have to be one-to-one. Personal training, you can be a personal trainer and still be doing other stuff. You can be a fitness influencer, you can be doing a content creator, whatever, all that kind of stuff, which is basically the stuff that I'm doing now. But just don't get rid of, I don't know, just don't cut the income stream.
Yeah. I think it's good to think about like, what are you good at? Because I think there's so much pressure in the entrepreneurial world to only be doing the thing that you love. And it's really damaging because so many people think, well, I'm a failure if I decide to have another job. And I worked with a coach and she gave me this phrase, which I'm never going to forget and I really love. And she said, right now, your soul is schooling your ego because our soul comes to earth to grow and learn. That's the only thing our soul wants. So actually being uncomfortable and being in the uncomfortable spaces, it's what our soul wants, but our ego that's wanting to keep us alive and is all about survival and moving from away from pain and towards pleasure. Our ego is like, no, this is uncomfortable. But something I've been doing a lot recently, and again, I think it's been helping me with abundance because it's been helping me not reject things that aren't for me or I don't like and saying I receive. So again, this coach I was working with, she's called the Holistic Sex Coach, and she's all about like feminine energy and coming into your feminine power. And the feminine is all about being a receiver. And so she has this quote as well where she said, I am in the receivership of life's providership. And I've been saying that whenever I find like I'm in a low place, like, say you find yourself stressing about money, how am I going to make ends meet, judging yourself for not being where you want to be, I'd stop and say, I am receiving this experience. This is an experience. My emotions are just an experience that I'm allowing to move through my body, and I'm going to receive this. And what I loved about her work, and I'd like to go back to her work eventually. Right now, again, I'm like being really like tighter with my finances because I'm like, actually right now I want to just tighten up and invest on things that really feel aligned. So I got what I needed from her work and I could come back to it. But essentially she's speaking about how we can get into alignment with the feminine energy. And so she doesn't speak directly about money, but she says, because I'm teaching you about how to be in receiver mode, you receive from everything in life. And working with her really helped me actually to come back to accepting my emotions, because I think what we do is we reject half of life, the bad stuff, essentially, which I think is why most people don't go for their dreams, because they're afraid of being in a bad situation and feeling bad. And so what you're actually doing is you're saying, so I'm going to choose not to receive 50% of the experience of life. And when we speak about abundance is about it's a feeling of how much you can feel. So for instance, I like to think about in terms of like, if you think about like a diagram of waves, if you don't allow yourself to experience the low lows, you can't go to the high highs. And that's with anything in life. So you could have loads of money, but you're stuck in a feeling that's like numb. So you're not in abundance. But if you really want to have the abundance of life, you want to feel the juice of life, you have to allow yourself to receive everything. So people like us going for our dreams and going through the freaking dark night of the soul that is starting a business, getting yourself
Yeah.
out there thinking, what are my friends going to think? What are my family going to think? And actually getting so much rejection. The
Yeah.
amount, like my mum, when I started doing this, she was like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving university? You
Yeah.
know.
And also, I just thought of something. When you're chasing your dreams, you're so
Mm,
attached
mm,
to what is it that you want, the outcome, right? So attached to it. And I think
mm.
I'm so attached to what I think it should look like, how it
Yeah.
should happen.
Yeah.
And so it sometimes you're grieving.
Mm.
I'm grieving the idea of what I would have achieved by
Yes.
now. Because a year ago when I quit gym, I was like, yeah, by this time a year later, I believe I'll be. I actually thought last year today, I thought I'll be able to travel on work on
Mm,
my laptop. I thought I would have established a business. In
mm,
my head, I thought, yeah, it's not going to be hard. I just need to work hard, head down, grind, and I'll be probably in Colombia right now on my laptop, well,
mm.
something like that. And I think right now I'm grieving the
Yeah.
fact that idea hasn't happened right now,
Mm-hmm.
and also struggling financially. And I feel like maybe to tell me if
Mm.
I'm in a victim mode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny because victim isn't what came up in my head when
Yeah.
you were mentioning that. What came up in my head was something that Tony Robbins speaks about
Mm,
that makes someone a powerful business owner is the ability to pivot. Meaning, when something
mm,
doesn't work, you just keep moving and you keep growing. And again, I see that as kind of like you can't be too rigid in life. You have to be like water. You have to
yeah.
allow. I got this message from a tree once, which was so beautiful. I was standing by this tree, and the tree said, "Be like soil."
Mm,
So the roots will grow and the roots will deepen, but the soil has to be supple in order for the roots to get deeper. So imagine yourself like that. Like if you get too rigid in, as you said, like your vision, and then you grieve your vision, you're actually keeping yourself stuck when actually spirit. So the journey is what we're on. We're trying to figure out what we want from our
mm,
lives. And we're on this journey. Like you set a goal, and actually everything you learn on that journey is getting you to where you want to be.
yeah.
But the idea of having a timeline on your goals can be important, but I personally think that's not really up to us.
Mm,
What's up to us is knowing what we want and surrendering. That's the way the surrender comes in, is however long it takes. And this is something that I really like downloaded the last couple of months, where I actually told myself, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. This is my life's work. I'm in my
mm,
20s. I could still be going for this in my 80s. I let go and I said, it's going to be however long it takes. And the freedom that you feel when you let go of the attachment of the time, that's going to allow you to actually move faster.
I think that's my problem. Yeah, I'm so attached to a timeline because
Mm,
although I have pivoted, like I tried
yes.
something beginning of this year. I did one-to-one coaching. Like I did had three
Mm,
clients coaching them, and I
nice.
realized I didn't like it. I didn't
Yeah.
like the one-to-one aspect of sitting down
Yes.
just listening to them.
Hmm.
I'm a more active person. I want to do
Mm,
things. I like speaking,
yep.
and I realized one-to-one is not for me. So,
Mm,
but I think then I was a bit disappointed with myself,
yeah.
even though I was being because I'm the kind of person that I like to try things. If I because if I don't try it, how would I
Mm,
know, right? But at the
yes.
same time, I think I was attached to the timeline, and I got a bit annoyed with myself. Fuck,
Mm,
like
mm,
it didn't work out how I want it to be. But okay, fine, let's keep going. So I feel like I have to go back to square one. I think
mm.
that's what it is. That's why I'm like,
But it won't be square one because you have had so much experience that you've learnt from through doing all the things that weren't the right thing. And
mm,
I like the term failing forward.
yeah,
That's what you're doing. And as well, the other thing with people who are successful is they are the ones that decided, I'm going to allow myself to fail again and again and again.
mm,
No one who wants to be successful who can't meet the bad feelings and the failures and the door shut and the timeline's not expected, like they don't get there. No one gets there if they aren't prepared to deal with those fallbacks.
mm,
And that's why, again, like I think as a coach, what we really need to be doing is empowering and inspiring our clients to build a foundation of like self-worth, self-trust, because you need so much inner resources to actually keep going. And this is something I also learned on my journey. Like we think about resources as having money, but having like resilience, having inner confidence, loving yourself, this is the stuff that actually creates success. because it means that you keep going no matter what because you believe in yourself. And I actually said something in the closing gratitude, or I think it was either the meditation I did for my manifestation workshop, or it was the closing gratitude on my retreat. And I said, tell yourself, because I'm never giving up on you. I'm always going to be here for you. And you're the only person that can actually tell yourself that. You know, if a partner tells you that, you never know what's going to happen to someone, but you have the power to tell yourself, I will always be here for you, Mika. I will always show up for you, and I'm never going to leave you, and I'm always going to love you. And it's the most powerful words of affirmation you can tell yourself. It's like, that's the person who you get to tell that to. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, what tip? Okay, actually, no. I'm trying to think. What tip would you give for people who just starting, or like someone like me, basically, like the coaching world, or
Yeah.
just starting a new business, basically,
Yeah.
and they're female entrepreneur, female business owner, and sorry, let me just say that again. I just realized what I wanted to say.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so talk about business owners, female business owners, masculine and feminine energy. Now, sometimes, more recently, we see a lot of people saying, "Oh, run your business in the feminine way," blah blah blah. And because we in this society, patriarchal society, we weren't really taught that being a feminine is good. You should do everything that's the masculine way. But obviously, we do need some sort of masculine energy.
Yeah.
But how can we become a successful female business owner?
Yes.
Balancing both. Like when do we know when to tap in, when to tap into this and that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So I think the first thing as well is to know, do you lean more towards the feminine or the masculine? Because I've worked with a lot of women who are more in their feminine actually and struggle to create the structures that a business requires. So the first thing is to kind of see yourself and go like, am I more masculine or am I more feminine naturally as a person, the way I live my life? For instance, for me, I've like the way I was raised and the way I responded to my environment is a more masculine way. So actually I needed more of the feminine to come into balance. But I think understanding, okay, a structure is something that we always need, and that is masculine. But in order for a structure to actually work and function, it needs to allow space for the feminine flow to come through. So the spirit of the idea. So say you have a business and the structure is, these are the offerings I have. I have 3 offerings. It's this long. This is the price. That's the structure. But the magic is the feminine flow that comes through you when you're actually holding space for these people. And I think if we have too many rules for ourselves with business, like this is why I struggle with a lot of business coaches, because they give you a certain way of doing things and it doesn't always work for you, and you get stuck and you get bogged down because you're like, well, it's not working for me and it works for loads of other people. So we need a structure that works for us, but balancing it with the feminine, which I think is important because our society has taught us that feminine energy is not necessarily important, is there are 2 ways that I really see the feminine as important. One is the creativity, like allowing yourself to really flow in your coaching sessions or in your workshops, like not having a full script laid out unless you really need it, but allowing your inspiration and your own voice, like we're doing right now, to speak through you. But then the second thing is, which the masculine shadow aspects really don't look at, is the nurture of ourselves. So our society doesn't see like the mother as the most important role in society, when actually she is, because without our mother, we're nothing. If you don't have love from a mother in the first 7 years of your life, generally you don't have a strong foundation for life. Obviously, there are people who grow out without mothers and like it's really upsetting, and there's things that like there's substitutes maybe for that mothering energy. But we need a mother to birth life to earth. And we have done for millions of years. And I believe it's a very important thing. But the mother as a role in society, she's the nurturer, and nurturing energy. Like we see people who are in nurturing roles like a nurse, and they're never as important as a doctor. But actually that care for ourselves and for the world is paramount to our survival. Because if you don't know how to look after yourself, that's when you get diseases. That's when you get sick. Because a lot, like most of the diseases we see in the world today happen because of stress. And most people know how to make money and they know how to create structures that make money, but they don't know how to create a structure where they're going to have lower stress and live a better life. So people are dying younger. Do you know what I mean? And not just from, like in America right now, it's the only developed society where the mortality rates are going up. And that's because of overdose and suicide, not because of people having diseases, but it's like people can't cope with life. So the feminine energy is that response to basically an epidemic of stress in the workplace, which tells you, how would you like to feel every day? How can I nurture myself? How can I come home to my body so that I can actually look after myself and put my needs before my desires for money, for instance,
What does coming back home mean?
coming back home. So I feel like it's good to have a reference point for feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So say when you're feeling really relaxed or when you're feeling really joyful, being like, this is a reference point for the life I want to live, the way I want to feel within me. And for me, I feel that it's actually feeling peaceful and connected to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm not feeling like that, so when I'm judging myself and I'm judging others, I feel disconnected. I don't feel at home in my environment. Because also, I think that when we're not feeling those like those that safety in the body, we actually alienate ourselves from our environment.
Mm-hmm.
But feeling at home is feeling connected and
Mm.
feeling inspired, and like the flow of life is moving through you, and I am connected to that divine inspiration. And there's this feeling of I'm home, but it's home within me,
Mm.
home within that feeling inside of me that tells me that everything's okay and
Mm.
that life is working out for me. And not at home is actually that feeling of fear.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because in Hebrew, actually, the word for home is very closely related to the word for safety.
Mm.
And when you think about home, like they say like a house a home, making a house a home. It's the feeling of you're making the house feel beautiful and safe and comfortable to be in. So
Mm.
yeah, that's my answer to that question. But yeah, what we started with feminine and masculine energies. Yeah, I think that what we need in our industry is for people to acknowledge the needs of our bodies first before the needs of our mind, because our mind wants loads of things
Yeah.
and our body is very simple. Our body will tell us that, oh, I need rest. I
Mm-hmm.
need to go out into the park. I need to drink more water. Like I feel like I need more water right now. And all of these things, it's actually way more simple. Whereas our mind's like, I want this and this and this and this, and I want it now. I'm like, oh, wait, mind. I don't know how to do that. No, I want it right now. And there's that thing of like the mind is like a good servant and an awful master. So
Mm.
that's literally what we have in this world. Like most of us are like, now, now, now. It's like an angry child and we're like running, chasing after it.
Yeah.
Please don't cry. And it's actually like, why are we running after the mind? We're meant to school the mind,
Yeah.
tell the mind, no, not right now. Because the flow of life is working through me and there is a timeline and I trust the divine timing of this.
Mm. I feel like now that you mentioned about the timeline and our mind wanting more things like that, I feel like that's why a lot of times we know when we have, for example, beginning of the year, we'd be like, oh, New Year's resolution, or set all this intention, and I think because we're so attached to them and expecting there's a timeline, which like me, for example, I thought by the second half of the first half of the year, like this time, I'll be traveling, but I'm nowhere near that place. So I feel like that's when we start to where we beat ourselves up, we anger at ourselves. Oh, it didn't happen. Why didn't it happen? I think when we have too much expectations and set ourselves to have I don't want to say intention, but goals,
Yeah.
and we didn't meet. And I feel like that's not the danger, but like it makes us feel like shit basically if we do too much of that. I think that's why I say like maybe set intentions,
Yeah.
and not expect it to actually happen, but like you said, just let it happen in divine timing.
Yeah, yeah. And you just, as you were speaking, I was reminded of a Tony Robbins quote. And it's amazing how much I learned from Tony Robbins in such a short space of time in those 4 days on Unleash Your Power Within. And he says, trade your expectations for appreciation. And I can honestly say that is something that has helped me slow down because rather than going, I want this, I need this, I'm appreciating, first of all, like my own bravery for going on my own path. Like this is such a courageous path, it's most people won't get it. So it's so beautiful to meet people who get it because first of all, yeah, appreciating yourself for being so brave. And then second of all, appreciating yourself for how much you're able to learn and grow. Because I really think as well, being a powerful space holder and entrepreneur is also being able to look at what went wrong and then improve it rather than beating ourselves up. It's like, oh my God, yes, amazing. Like I want to get to that point where I have a failure and I go, I'm so happy that I can now see how to do it a better way. It's actually all of this is such deep learning, and I think that the going back to that quote, I am in receivership of life's providership. It means that affirmation is basically saying I am receiving what I'm being provided. It might be good, it might be bad, but because I'm receiving this, I'm not resisting it. I'm actually able to allow that to work with my soul's energy, which I believe is a higher energy that then can transmute what's going on. So even if it's negative, because I'm receiving it, I'm going, okay, I receive this, I allow this, I'm not resisting it. And there's something in us, a divine spark energy inside of us that can shed light on what's going on, and it just leaves our body. It leaves our situation. Whereas when we're resisting it, our mind's trying to make a story out of it. Like, I didn't do it because I had this in my childhood and I'm not good enough and da 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 da. And you just get stuck. And it's like that all that emotion wants to do is move through you and go somewhere else. And we keep it locked in by giving it a story and giving it a name and giving it a personality that we attach to us and say, this is my problem. When no, it's not your problem. Like, again, we don't die with any of this. You know, we're a soul, we come here for a little while and then we leave. And the idea of like, I was born to tell myself that I'm something that I can then carry into the next life. It's just not true, you know? And I think letting go of the need to have an identity that defines us is so important on this journey. Like, I don't always like to say, like, what do you do? I'm like, yeah, I do this, but also I'm so many other things. I'm a multidimensional soul, and it helps me to navigate life to say I'm this person. But when we zoom out, it's like, who am I actually? I am what I allow others and myself to feel. So the other day I really sat with myself and I was like, you know what? I want to bring light to the world, however that looks. If that's serving coffees in a coffee shop and like, you know, having a smile for people who I like, then that's great. And then also another thing I really love is I want to be an honest, truthful person. So some people that come in, I don't like them, I don't give them anything. And it's like every single day, can I just have that energy pouring out? Can I have a conversation where I make someone feel more inspired? Then I'm literally doing what I'm here to do on earth. It doesn't need to be that I'm making money from it. And if I do, amazing, bonus points.
Yeah. You know what? As you're talking, it reminded me of right now. I'm listening to a book on Audible, The Power of Letting Go.
Oh yeah, I read that book. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been
Yeah, it's quite a short book actually, isn't it?
yeah, but it's really good. Like it's
Really, really good. Yeah.
it's like although sometimes you know what, you know that you should be letting go, but it's something you need things to remind you. And where you what you said about resisting and saying how you should just embrace the moment, it's like, oh, it's hard, but yeah, I get it. Like it's a learning experience. Life is a learning, it's a lesson basically.
And that's the whole thing with coming back to the body. Like, if we're aware of what our body's doing, like I know sometimes like my face is crunched up and my body's crunched up and I'm literally physically resisting it. And then if you just allow your body to relax, and it's like I do a lot of self-massaging to really soothe my body and bring myself back down. And that helps the thoughts to flow and it helps the stories to go away. Yesterday I was having quite an intense day and I just like I need to have a shower and I need to oil myself. And as soon as I started doing that, like the flow, like it was almost like something hardened inside of me, like iced up inside of me. And then as soon as I started to oil myself, I felt the water melting. I felt myself flowing. By the time I walked home, I was literally just feeling so happy to be alive again. And it was a difficult day. It was really like I had a lot of stuff coming my way. But yeah, do you feel like we've said enough on manifestation?
Yeah, but I want to talk about menstrual cycle now.
Yes.
So talk about how you manifest through menstrual cycle. Why menstrual cycle? What does that mean?
So, our menstrual cycle, I believe, is a reminder of the powerful creative aspect that exists within all womb bearers, which is the ability to create a life. And every single month that we shed our blood, we're letting go of not that capacity, but it's kind of like because that what comes out in the blood is the egg, it's a reminder of the creative power within us because that egg could literally become a human life.
Yeah.
It's mental. And we actually, you know, I think a lot of the time we don't even realize just how powerful that realization is. So what I do when I manifest my menstrual cycle is two things. I set an intention for what I want it to release in my bleed. And then I set an intention as my cycle is growing for what I'd like to receive. So the first thing I do is I set an intention for what I want to release with my blood flow releasing. So basically the rituals that I do to manifest on my menstrual cycle always begin on my bleed.
Right, okay.
So I'll have my bleed first or second day and I'll do journaling and I'll journal what am I letting go of. And I'll also look back at like how did the last month go. And yeah, you're literally physically letting go of the egg when you're bleeding. So I'm letting go of, for instance, last month it was lack mentality and scarcity.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I actually had really done a intention based on my own needs rather than like the needs of my business or someone else. Set the intention for what I want to release. And then I also set an intention for over the next cycle. So the next 28, 30 days, however long your cycle is, I set an intention for what I want to receive and grow. And it's similar to what's happening inside of us. Like when you're,
Mm.
the womb lining thickens, your body's getting ready for pregnancy. But then if it doesn't get pregnant, you're shedding that. So every single month we have this new opportunity to grow and build. And I like to try and think, okay, during my ovulation, like, how's it going? Am I working on it? And then when I'm going through like I think it's I can't really remember all of the phases.
Follicular.
The follicular's like, isn't it before ovulation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Folliculars, so I think they're so I'm calling it the luteinizing phase, but it's not the luteinizing phase. But the inner autumn phase, when you go back into the winter, I'm like bundling up all of my ideas and I'm like tying up loose ends, talking to people, getting stuff together so I can shed again. So I really start with my manifestations on day one and I think, what would I like to receive?
So day one as in...
And what would I like to let go of? The first day of my bleed.
Yeah. Okay, so that's when you think about what you want to let go of. Day
What I
one.
want to let go of and what I want to receive. But I always start with letting go.
Okay.
Like, what am I making space to then call in?
Do you talk about what you want to receive on day one as well, or?
Yeah, I do them pretty much at the same time.
Yeah.
But I spend more time thinking about letting go when I'm first writing. And then I go more into, okay, what would I like to receive on this period cycle? And I usually just think of one thing.
Yeah.
And I manifest in other ways in my life. But with the menstrual cycle, I really try to manifest the things I really care about. Like, say, and it doesn't need to be like, okay, this month I'm manifesting a Jeep Wrangler. But I believe, again, a manifestation journey is about getting to the vibration that you want to be on to receive that Jeep or whatever it is. So releasing the scarcity mindset is one of the biggest parts of knowing I can buy a 25 grand car, So last month it was that, and then I was receiving abundance. And it was just those very simple intentions. But as time moves forward and I'm able to actually get more into the vibration of what I want and actually feel that I'm worthy and deserving of that, 1 month it will go, I'm letting go of all fear. I'm manifesting a Jeep Wrangler this month. So I always get really specific and I actually speak to my womb and I ask my womb, what are we manifesting? What am I letting go of? And I really get inside my feelings and my feeling body to discover what it is this month that I'm letting go of, because I don't want it to come from my mind. It's not my mind's desires. It's a deeper feeling inside of me of, what do I need? What is my soul ready to receive and ready to let go of?
When it comes to follicular phase, can you still manifest then? Can you still manifest?
Yeah, you can manifest through your whole cycle. And I think it's important to think back to the goals that you set, because I think that what I've noticed is that some months you're actually releasing a lot more and letting go of a lot more, and some months you're actually just in this like joyful phase of like, I'm in a good mood, I'm manifesting. I was like, last month I was in a really great space of, I was getting so much done. I started my podcast. It was all really like happening. And then this month has been more about shedding and letting go. But in your follicular phase, I guess it depends on where you're at. If you feel like you're in a more shedding mood, just focusing on like, how can I align my body? So like maybe it's like eating certain foods or like going out more or speaking to your friends so that I can support the process I'm in of letting go. And then sometimes you're in more of a building phase. So you're like, okay, right, let's get sorted, let's get planning. But I really think like something I really teach in my work that I really want to like continue teaching and growing and learning in my practice is that we have to come back to our body's needs, because there's some months where actually your body's just quite tired and it's like, you know what, some months I just say to myself, I allow whatever needs to be released and I receive whatever I'm meant to receive, and it's not always so specific. And then sometimes I'm manifesting loads, like throughout the month I'm just deciding what I want. But I think, it just depends on whether you are really in alignment with what you want and what you need. And some months we're not like that, and that's okay. It's just a matter of always trying to come back to refine your vision for life, how you approach that, and just continuing to move forward no matter what.
Okay, let's wrap it up here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me
dropping
on.
so many gems. Any maybe last tips, like last 2 tips for people about manifestation?
So I might just sort of wrap it up in a few steps. Is figuring out what you want, and then figuring out what you want, and then figuring out what does that thing make you feel. Really getting specific, closing your eyes, thinking, okay, it makes me feel really happy. And then writing down a list of the things in your life that make you feel happy that you can do right now. So that could be watching a series you like, reading a book, going on a walk, cooking, and doing those things. starting small. I think actually the biggest thing I can say with manifestation is start small. It doesn't need to be that you set your goals this high. Because I think when you set your goals really high and you want to get there and you want to get there and you want to get there, it's harder to attain that and you feel like you can't and then you give up. So start small. That is a tip I have for the takeaway. Start small and let your practice of manifestation and abundance and amassing what you want grow from there by letting yourself take those small steps forward. That is really the biggest takeaway I can take from the whole journey. Start small.
Yeah. I'm gonna start small as well then.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't mean don't dream big.
Yeah.
Dream big, but break down the dream.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story actually. Quick one.
Yeah.
You know how to say set it and forget it, right?
Yeah.
So I back in 2022, I got booked on to dance for a rapper. And basically he's a Dominican rapper. He came to London to do his concert, and I got booked on to perform at a concert. So anyway, prior to that, for 3 years, I've been trying to pursue to become a professional dancer. Not full time, just part time. But I just want to be a professional dancer. I want to have the opportunity to get booked on to dance to dance professionally. But anyway, I said to myself one time, I think I did write it down actually. I said, if I could just get one time, just one opportunity to dance on stage, because I said I would rather dance on stage than on TV music video, because I just love performing. So yeah, I said if I only could get just one time dance on stage, maybe whether it's a festival concert for a celebrity. Okay, I want it to be a well-known artist. Anyway, and then early 2022. I decided, you know what, after performing at a place, but this wasn't a concert, it was literally just like a project that one of the dance teachers put together, and I was part of it. But anyway, it was so that experience was so much that it kind of put me off of dancing. So because of that, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to pursue dancing anymore. Okay, I said, I'm just going to dance for fun. After saying that, a month later, me and my friend went clubbing. And basically, it was a reggaeton party, and I go to reggaeton parties a lot, so some people recognize me. Anyway, fast forward, this guy came up to me and was like, "Oh, were you at the last party in Brixton Electric?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I just want to say hi because you know my friend." I was like, "Oh, okay, nice to meet you." He walked away and then came back and asked me again, "Oh, by the way, you're a sick dancer, and we need some dancers right now on stage. You want to come?" I'm like, okay. So me and my friend went on stage, right? Anyway, so then we were just vibing on the stage with the DJ and other people on the stage. And he goes to me, "You're actually a really good dancer. I've got a concert coming up that I'm organising and we're looking for dancers. Would you be interested?"
Whoa.
And he goes, "It's paid." I was like, "Yes." Right? So then, and that's how it happened.
That's amazing.
And I got booked on, and my first ever paid job. And I was like, wow, just when I thought, I'm not going to pursue dance anymore, and this happened, and it fulfilled that one particular goal. I said, just one time, if I could just one time, and it's to my favorite music genre as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And you don't want to do it again?
I mean, if there's opportunity, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But now that's not my priority. Let's just put it this way, yeah. And yeah, so
that's amazing. Yeah, it's the magic. It's the magic, and I think it's like we all have our own unique way of following that magic. But yeah,
but with that though, I kind of gave up on that thought though.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing actually, and it happens a lot. You just you just fade it out.
Yeah,
I think it's like, because if you're holding on and wanting, it just doesn't come because you're in the vibration of lack, because the universe can feel you don't have it. So an important thing is to just let it go. And I think the thing as well is it's easy to let it go when you're doing other things that make you feel fulfilled, because you're not thinking about what you want. You're just in the moment, enjoying your life. Like right in that moment, you're like enjoying your life, going to reggae parties, just living your life. And then you're on that vibration of what that could give you in enjoyment, fulfillment. And then it takes you there. So I actually just like that download just came to me now, is if you really want to manifest what you want, let go of what you want to have. But it will help you to let go by doing the things that you love. You'll feel fulfilled.
I got another one. This is like years and years ago.
Yeah.
So I used to be in events, right? And events manager, and that company used to have other branches in other countries. And one time, because I'm like basically the most experienced there, they would send me out to different countries to help run the events. Anyway, so they sent me to India, and Um, my manager at the time, he used to stay at the Four Seasons Hotel,
Yeah.
which is like you know the Four Seasons Hotel, right? It's a really nice hotel. Anyway, so then before I went, my other colleague also went as well, and he said that. Oh, I said, what hotel did you stay at? He goes, oh, I stayed at this hotel. So what? We didn't stay at Four Seasons. He goes, no, it was too expensive. I was thinking, basically, obviously, you don't pay, the company pays for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But apparently they said, oh, yeah, no, the company stopped paying for it now. And I'm
Oh.
thinking, and because I'm going, I'm thinking, nah, I'm staying at Four Seasons Hotel. So in my mind, I'm already thinking, my manager at the time, I'm thinking, no, he loves me. He will let me stay at Four Seasons, right? But I never asked him. And also he wasn't in the office for the whole week. He was on a business trip. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna wait for him to come back. So in my head, I'm already thinking, nope, I am not booking another hotel. I am booking the Four Seasons. Okay.
Love this.
And when he came back, I don't know if we had a conversation, but I just know that my manager came back to the office and he was like, "Oh, Celia, Four Seasons is doing half price right now."
Oh, love
Yeah,
this.
they're doing 50% a night right now. So I can book you to stay at Four Seasons. I didn't even ask him. He
Whoa.
just mentioned. I was like, yeah, like that. And that's how I got to stay at the Four Seasons Hotel. And
Oh
he
my God.
also booked me to fly premium economy, although it's not business class, but still
Yeah.
premium economy. And he goes, you can also get the Four Seasons Hotel people to pick you up from the airport. I've got more than
This
what
is
my other colleagues got, because
yeah.
he might. You know what? I believe that because I believe my manager at the time, he loves me. He would do anything for me. I'm like his daughter.
Yeah,
I felt.
yeah. Belief is such a big thing with it as well. Like believing that you can have it
Yeah.
and making space.
Yeah.
That's something we didn't speak about, but making space for your manifestations. Because if you decided to go to another hotel, you'd close that ability because you've got it filled up. But it's like
Yeah.
if you make space in your life for these little things to come in, like you make space for a partner by like, you know, making a room a certain way or all of this stuff, it opens the door. So
Yeah.
how cool.
Yeah.
Ah, love that.
All right, let's
Love
wrap it
that.
up.
Wrap it
Okay.
up.
So how can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Manifest with Mika, and I also just started a podcast, Her Body Speaks, and it's all about manifestation, all about the female body, and yeah, so those are my two spaces at the moment. So catch me there, and I'd love to chat about manifestation, about embodiment, about all the fun things that I'm doing, and yeah, so excited to have been here.
Yeah, me too.
So grateful.
I love this conversation.
Same.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Loved it. All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening, whatever platform you're tuning into. As always, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Spotify, iTunes, whatever platform. It will mean the world to me because you're helping me grow and reach more people. And as always, thank you for love and support. Mwah.